Now, Stormwatch 12 weather with meteorologist Oliver Smith.
Well, let's take a pleasant look over in Ashland from the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. You can see a little bit of a breeze going on in the foreground here, and it's out of the west at 11 miles an hour, 81 degrees, very pleasant temperatures overall. In fact, we were pretty pleasant but warm throughout most of the area. In fact, we were right around 85 degrees. Give or take a degree, and that's about it from Grants Pass all the way to Mount Shasta City, upper 70s, east the Cascades, and low 60s along the Oregon coast. So high pressure was set right over us. It's starting to shift off towards the east, so that's going to allow this next system offshore to move into the region. So it's actually a fairly strong system, although most of the energy, though, is going to stay up to our north. But it will bring some cooler air into the region as well. Our forecast for tonight, temperatures into the low to mid 40s east the Cascades, and we'll be right around 50 degrees for the Rogue and Shasta Valley, so pretty close to our seasonal average. And we'll be looking at upper 40s along the Oregon coast, but we will be seeing low clouds developing overnight tonight. Now, if you're thinking of taking a hike for tomorrow, temperatures are going to be very pleasant. They'll be fairly mild early in the morning into the upper 50s at about 8 o'clock, but once we get towards lunchtime, start making it into the 70s, and we should peak into the 70s for tomorrow. In fact, we're going to be looking at variable clouds west of the Cascades for tomorrow. It'll be a little bit cloudier, a little bit sunnier, and a little bit cloudier kind of a day for tomorrow. That's not going to be the same scenario for east of the Cascades. We'll be looking at some thunderstorms being possible. We'll get into that in a bit, but 70s for most of the region for tomorrow, 60s along the Oregon coast. So a stormcast showing that we're going to see those clouds to start off the early morning hours west of the Cascades, so it'll be a nice cool feeling overall. But then we get towards the afternoon, we'll start seeing some more sunshine, and then we'll start seeing that chance of some isolated showers and thunderstorms in the Cascades, eastern Siskiyou County, and essentially just east of Klamath Falls, at least according to this particular model. That doesn't necessarily mean that Klamath Falls won't get any, but they're going to be very widespread and isolated, so anybody really east of the Cascades could get a shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. But it's not going to be like a washout. You don't have to cancel your outdoor plans or anything along those lines. But once we get towards midnight, everything should really start to fall apart. And then we're going to be looking very nice. So once we get towards Wednesday, we're going to be looking at a lot of sunshine throughout the region. The typical kind of northwesterly breeze returns, and a high pressure starts to ramp up yet again. So if you like those warmer temperatures, oh yeah, they'll be coming back in full force. So pollen forecast, it's going to stay pretty high throughout the week. So we're no real relief in sight in terms of if you do have hay fever allergies. So the high pressure that's over us, well, that's going to be building up from the south for tomorrow, is going to continue to do that. But it's going to actually shift off towards the south and the west for tomorrow, allowing that next system to move through. So temperatures tomorrow will be cooler. It stays pleasant as we go towards Wednesday, but the main energy starts to shift off towards the east. High pressure starts to build in off to our west. The warmer air starts to build in. But we're not going to be looking at super warm temperatures. We are going to warm up, though, for the latter part of the week. We get a weak system moving through on Saturday. All that's going to do is essentially just bring some clouds to the region, shave off a couple of degrees, and then high pressure builds in once we get towards the end of the weekend and into early next week. Things get really interesting once we get towards this time frame, late into the weekend into early next week, because we're going to have a very strong southwesterly flow. We could be on the borderline for some showers, and it could be a bit on the muggy side and pretty warm at this particular juncture, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, because muggy and warm, yeah, it's not all a great feeling. But here's your forecast for the Oregon coast into the 60s through Wednesday. It stays pretty blustery through the end of the week, and the highs go back into the 70s and then eventually cool off, and maybe a shower possible on Monday. Northern California could see a few showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow. I forgot to take out the Memorial Day there, but it's going to be pretty nice overall. For the Klamath Basin, same kind of scenario. 68 for Wednesday, and then low 80s by the time we get towards Friday and into Saturday. Cascades, we're going to be looking at temperatures cooling once we get towards Wednesday. Eventually they creep up to near 70 by Friday, and then we could see some showers and thunderstorms early next week. Rogue Valley, we could also see that same kind of scenario, maybe some showers towards Monday, but in the meantime, we're going to be looking at temperatures warming nicely into the 80s by Friday, so pretty pleasant overall.